the past couple seasons has had a problem with the forward position,
Yep.
right? And the years we didn't have a problem with that position, we had LeBron James.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't have LeBron James right now, unless we
Or
draft
Kevin
Bronny
Love. Prime Kevin Love. Don't have
or
him either.
or Laurie Markkinen. I
Or,
forgot about that. But that's when
oh.
we just ran super duper big. We didn't care. We were just like, you know what? We're gonna pit anybody at that position, and we're gonna shoot for the stars.
Do you think the Cavaliers would have been better if we never made the Donovan Mitchell trade? Like if we just held with our guns and kept marketing and let him become the all-star we know he was going to become? Because he had an underrated season on the Cavaliers.
He did.
Very underrated year. That's a really tough question.
That is a tough question because that means we still would have had Colin Sexton.
Hey, we could have flipped Colin Sexton.
We could have.
We're kind of back at square one now, though, now that Mitchell is.
I think yes and no.
Yeah.
I will say
no regrets. We still made the playoffs. We still had a really good year last year.
But the reason I say yes because I do feel like Laurie Markkinen would have stayed. And I think that's where we would have won in terms of not making that. I think like if it was flipped, we would have never been in the situation where we'd have doubted should we trade Laurie Markkinen.
That starting five of Garland, Okoro, Markkinen, Mobley, and Allen. If Markkinen becomes that all-star, there is nothing that starting five doesn't have. That starting five is deadly. By the way, that's another one we haven't talked about. Isaac Okoro is a must re-sign. He has arguably been our most consistent player this year. He's one of the best defenders in the league, averaging like 11 points per game or something, and his three-point shooting's gotten better. I hope we re-sign him.
Nice.
But there's going to be a team out that offer him. Yeah. I'd still go 17 million a year, 16 million a year.
I would do that, but yeah, I know
he's a better player than Max Strus, and Max Strus is on that contract.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're gonna mess around. We're gonna have to sign and trade, bro. We're not gonna resign.
You think Okoro is going?
I think we're gonna end up because his number
will get pretty high.
It's gonna get pretty high because you think like you talked about the new CBA, like because after a while we are gonna have to start because we haven't paid Evan Mobley yet, and we're going to do that.
But when we pay Mobley, he'll get paid when Donovan Mitchell gets traded. If Donovan Mitchell gets traded this offseason, Mobley will get the Supermax contract like the next day.
But the problem still with that is you trade Don, you're probably going to get like 3-4 players back, and 2 of which is probably going to have decent. Like, because even if we do that Miami Heat trade, like, because how much is Tyler Hero again? Has he gotten his extension?
Yeah, I think it's about 25
a year.
Yeah.
So we would have.
You wouldn't get Duncan Robinson back because salary cap, that wouldn't make sense. The thing though, to add to your point earlier, so you talked about a third team getting involved. What if the Cavaliers move Donovan Mitchell to Brooklyn still and bring in Cam Johnson and Finney Smith, right, as the forwards that we just haven't been able to have?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens if we go to a third team and maybe Allen gets moved as well in this? Maybe it's a huge trade where maybe Allen's involved with this as well. Or maybe that third team, I'm not saying this player, but like a Brandon Ingram type small forward who's a near all-star guy who can put up 22 points a game, play okay defense. If you're the Cavaliers and you maybe let's just say we lose. This is the most dumb 2K trade you've ever seen, right? I'm just pulling this out of my arsehole. But what if it's like Jarrett Allen and Donovan Mitchell get traded and we bring back Cam Johnson, Finney Smith, Brandon Ingram, and like 2 to 3 first-round picks?
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So then you have a starting five that looks like maybe Garland. You get to bring back Okoro as well.
Mm-hmm.
Garland, Okoro, Ingram, Johnson, and Mobley at the 5. The only issue with that team is you'd be looking for a backup center, and where do we get the backup point guard from?
Mm-hmm. And what do you do now with Evan Mobley? I mean, not Evan
You know,
Mobley, but what do you do with Amani Bates?